It's the Hump Day edition of Weather for Weather Geeks. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We've got a lot to talk about today, so let's get right to it. First things first, the rain's pushing in a little bit sooner than I thought it would 24 hours ago. Things are speeding up a bit. So as I record this at about 2:15 p.m., here's the current radar. We're a few hours away from getting wet, it looks like, in a lot of the valley. The rain is still mostly west of I-71. Sandusky, Toledo getting soaked, Fort Wayne as well. And the red shape here, that's a tornado watch that's in effect for just about all of western Ohio, and it gets as far east as the far western suburbs of Cleveland. There's no imminent threat for tornadoes in Ohio, but eventually the atmospheric conditions may support them. I think the higher risk in the near term, mid-afternoon, is going to be out here across Indiana, where there's already a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings just north of Indianapolis in central Indiana. So we've got a wall of rain heading our way, and the atmosphere is certainly moistening up. Here are the dew points this afternoon. Fuel for those storms, that's for sure. Dew points locally are in the middle and upper 60s, even some 70-degree dew points out in parts of central Ohio and western Ohio as well. As far as the temperatures out ahead of the rain, it's warm as we expected. We're in the upper 70s to around 80 here in the mid-afternoon. So let me zoom out, take a look at kind of a broader picture here. This is a very impressive looking what we call mid-latitude cyclone. This is more of a fall type of a situation with a real strong low-pressure system centered up here around Green Bay. Strong cold front back here. There's a warm front up here. And the air behind this, of course, is much cooler. I'll show you those temperatures in just a second. But this is a pretty impressive weather map for the summer season, which officially astronomical summer. We're still in for another 12 days. We're in meteorological fall now, which is September, October, November, but the traditional definition, astronomical definition of summer is, of course, from about June 21st to September 21st. So, it's a pretty impressive looking storm. Check out the temperatures behind it. I'm going to bring up the temperature contours here, illustrate this a little better. Wow, it is very, very November-like even across the plains and into the Rockies this afternoon. Yep, that's blue, that's snow falling in some of the higher elevations of northern and western Montana, where temperatures are in the 30s. It's in the 40s as far south as northern Nebraska and into Minnesota. Yikes, it's still only September 10th. And we're talking about this kind of cold. It extends all the way up into Canada. And all this is coming south. This is a whopper of a cold front. Look at the temperature difference. 96 right now in Dallas and 47 up there in Valentine, Nebraska. So big clash of the air masses going on. All right, so I just thought that was kind of a cool thing. Some of that air is heading our way. Of course, it's not going to be in the 40s during the day here, but we're going to be no higher than mid-60s for a couple of days anyway coming up. All right, as far as some of the atmospheric conditions that we're looking at for the possibility of severe weather, here's the current CAPE values, convective available potential energy. Basically, how unstable is the atmosphere? And the kind of brighter the colors, the more unstable it is. These values are not off the charts. Even where the tornado watch is in effect out here, that's because it's cloudy and it's raining right now. The atmosphere is fairly stable, but as we start to get some holes in the clouds trying to punch in from the south and west, the atmosphere may be finally unstable enough to support some more widespread severe weather out across Indiana and western Ohio. Locally, it's moderately unstable, but we've had some clouds. It's unstable enough, though, to certainly support some lightning and thunder later on. It is very, very moist out, and that drives those CAPE values up. Another thing we can look at is the helicity, or basically the shear, the turning of the air as we go up through the atmosphere, and it's pretty high out here in Michigan and Indiana. That's why that's a tornado watch and not a severe thunderstorm watch. Western Ohio into Indiana. The wind is definitely turning and changing speeds with height out there, which if you get a strong updraft in a thunderstorm, you get a supercell, I wouldn't be shocked if we had a couple of tornadoes forming out of some of those stronger cells. It's going to depend on how much sunshine they get, though. Right now, there's a lot of clouds around. That may prevent things from going too crazy. So locally, not expecting any tornadic activity here, but western Ohio into Indiana, that's something we're definitely going to have to watch out for. In fact, the significant tornado parameter, another thing we can look at here, is pretty high, especially down along the lower Ohio River, but it even gets pretty high up into central Indiana. So the bullseye, the best chance for severe weather for the rest of the day, if I had to pick a spot, it's probably somewhere in here, very western part of Ohio, into central parts of Indiana. So let's take a look at the models and see what we have going on as we go into the future here. Bring up the short range, what we call rapid refresh model. It's updated once an hour. We're going to look at the simulated radar product here a couple of hours from now. Let's go ahead to 4 o'clock. This looks like it might be a little slow to me as far as the progression of things, keeping in mind that the current radar looks like this, and this is 2:18 this afternoon. The radar on the model looks like this a couple of hours from now. That looks a little too slow, so we'll take this with a little bit of a grain of salt, but we will go forward with it and take a look at 6 o'clock this evening. It has the leading edge of the rain pushing into the valley, and if this model's a little too slow right now, this might be more in the 5 o'clock hour, that from west to east we start to get wet. Now, if you're watching from Lawrence County, Mercer County over in Pennsylvania, yeah, probably the 6 o'clock hour is a better estimate for your start time, but Mahoning, Trumbull, Columbiana, probably starts to rain, at least lightly in a lot of spots, before 6 o'clock, sometime in the 5 o'clock hour this evening. Severe weather possibly ongoing at this point to our south and west. There could be some supercell thunderstorms somewhere in here. Again, it just depends on if they can get rid of the clouds in time. Hopefully the clouds hang on. We don't have severe weather out there, but that's going to be a big factor. It's going to turn out to be a wet evening here. Here's 8 o'clock this evening, and just a good steady soaker. You might hear some thunder, see some lightning out there, but I really don't think severe weather is much of a concern here, certainly compared to off to the west. So that's 8 o'clock. Here's 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock, and yeah, it's just raining. It looks like it's going to rain just about all evening, and a good chunk of the overnight as well. If we skip ahead here to the middle of the night tonight, by this point any rain's pretty light, but it is there. And as the kids get off to school in the morning, you head off to work. Here's 8 o'clock in the morning. This isn't real impressive looking, but I guess there could be some light rain or drizzle around, especially south of I-80 at around sunrise and up to 8 o'clock or so tomorrow morning, maybe even 9 or 10 o'clock in some spots. Finally, by afternoon tomorrow, here's noon, we lose the rain. Clouds are going to try to hang tough, though, and temperatures tomorrow may actually kind of bob around, holding steady in the middle and upper 60s, and then start to tail off in the afternoon. It's going to be kind of one of those backwards days. If you remember Saturday, it was kind of the situation we had Saturday, where temperatures actually started to nosedive in the afternoon as the rain was a little persistent. Now, I don't think the rain's as persistent tomorrow as it was Saturday, but temperatures are going to do, kind of one of those steady or slowly falling type of things during the course of our Thursday. I think Friday is an uneventful day, just cool. Here's a look at Saturday. A little secondary front here Saturday morning with a little bit of shower activity along it, especially off to our north and east. Saturday is not a washout, but if we do get under one of those showers, boy, it's going to feel chilly. It's going to really feel like October. We'll have some sunny breaks, and then Sunday looks uneventful, very quiet for the Browns home opener up there in Cleveland on Sunday. And then here's a look at next Monday with another system approaching from the west. Maybe there's a couple of showers, at least according to the GFS model here. This is definitely a cool pattern we're heading into, and we're going to be in it for a good week. This is the temperature anomaly chart on the latest GFS ensemble model. The black line that doesn't move here, that's the average temperature. In other words, what is the average for this time of the year? The line that moves around, that's the actual forecast. And yeah, warm for now, but then we dive below average starting tomorrow and stay below average through the weekend, through the first half of next week, and then maybe we finally get back up to typical mid-September levels around the 20th, 21st. So get set for a real October preview coming over the next 6-7 days. That's today's weather for Weather Geeks. Have a great afternoon, everyone. Of course, as the rain pushes in, I'll keep you updated on social media, Facebook and Twitter. I'll see you tonight on 21 News at 6 and 11.